Welcome to our Modi briefing program. I am your host Liang Jun. Today, we dive into some heated discussions that unfolded in Canada, where Liberal MP Chandra Arya and NDP leader Jagmeet Singh exchanged sharp words over violent clashes at a Hindu temple in Brampton. Arya pointed fingers at pro-Khalistan extremists for the unrest, while Singh accused him of pushing Indian government narratives, revealing deep divisions in Canadian politics regarding extremism. In a shocking turn of events, a Peel police officer has been suspended after being implicated in a pro-Khalistani protest that escalated into violence outside the Hindu Sabha Mandir. The incident, which involved physical altercations and the use of flagpoles as weapons, has raised serious concerns about safety and political tensions between Canada and India, especially following the accusations surrounding the killing of Sikh activist Hardip Singh Nijjar. Lastly, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has stepped into the fray, condemning the violence and calling it a deliberate attack. He urged the Canadian government to uphold the rule of law and ensure the safety of places of worship, as the diplomatic relationship between India and Canada continues to strain. Modi's comments highlight the urgency for justice and a resolution to these escalating tensions. Please stay tuned for more detailed coverage. The Toronto Star reports on a heated exchange between Liberal MP Chandra Arya and NDP leader Jagmeet Singh following a violent clash at a Hindu temple in Brampton, Ontario accused Singh of ignoring the reality of violent Khalistani extremism in Canada, echoing accusations made by the Indian government regarding the infiltration of pro-Khalistan elements into Canadian politics and law enforcement. This clash, which resulted in 3 arrests, was sparked by a protest against Indian consular officials attending the temple, reflecting the ongoing tensions between Canada and India, particularly after allegations surfaced linking Indian officials to threats and violence against Canadians. In another article from the Toronto Star, it is revealed that a Peel police officer has been suspended for participating in the pro-Khalistani protest that turned violent. The incident occurred outside the Hindu Sabha Mandir, where tensions escalated as protesters clashed with worshippers. The police confirmed that 3 individuals were charged, with one allegedly assaulting an officer. The protest was reportedly organized due to concerns about Indian officials' presence at the temple, which some Sikh groups argue could threaten the safety of pro-Khalistani supporters in Canada. Local leaders, including Brampton's mayor, condemned the violence and emphasized the need to protect places of worship, suggesting a motion to prohibit protests at these sites. BBC highlights Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's condemnation of the violence at the temple, labeling it a deliberate attack and criticizing attempts to intimidate Indian diplomats. Modi's remarks come amid a backdrop of diplomatic tensions between Canada and India, exacerbated by allegations of Indian involvement in the killing of Hardip Singh Nijjar, a Canadian citizen and Khalistan supporter. The ongoing feud raises concerns about the future of trade and immigration ties between the two nations, as both countries have expelled each other's diplomats and continue to accuse one another of serious misconduct without presenting concrete evidence. The Toronto Star reports that Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has called on the Canadian government to uphold the rule of law following violent clashes outside a Hindu temple in Brampton, Ontario. The altercations occurred during a protest by Sikh separatists against the presence of Indian consular officials at the temple, leading to the arrest of 3 individuals by Peel police. Modi condemned the violence, labeling it a deliberate attack on a place of worship, and expressed concern over attempts to intimidate Indian diplomats, emphasizing that such acts would not weaken India's resolve. Liberal MP Chandra Arya echoed these sentiments, attributing the violence to pro-Khalistan extremists and urging Hindu Canadians to assert their rights for community safety. The Guardian highlights the escalating diplomatic tensions between Canada and India, particularly following accusations from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau that linked the Indian government to the assassination of a prominent Khalistan activist. The clashes at the Hindu Sabha Mandir temple were marked by video showing violent confrontations between protesters brandishing Khalistan flags and Hindu worshippers. Modi's statements condemned the violence, while Sikhs for Justice claimed that the incident was incited by Indo-Canadian nationalists and Indian officials. Canadian political leaders, including Trudeau, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre, and NDP leader Jagmeet Singh, universally condemned the violence, asserting that every Canadian should have the right to practice their faith without fear. The Globe and Mail elaborates on the aftermath of the violence, noting that police have not released specific details regarding the charges against those arrested. Lotus' condemnation of the events was clear as he reiterated the importance of justice and law enforcement in Canada. The tensions have roots in previous diplomatic strains, notably the expulsion of Indian diplomats from Canada amid allegations of a covert violence network targeting Sikh separatists. This ongoing conflict has raised serious questions about the influence of foreign governments in Canadian affairs and the safety of religious communities within the country. Diplomat India is currently facing a significant diplomatic crisis with Canada, sparked by accusations from Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau that Indian officials were involved in the assassination of Sikh leader Hardip Singh Nijjar. The Indian government has vehemently denied these allegations, calling them absurd and accusing Canada of harboring Khalistani separatists. As the tensions escalated, both nations expelled diplomats and reduced their diplomatic presence. Canada has claimed to possess evidence against India, which India has dismissed, leading to further accusations of transnational repression and election interference. The situation has drawn parallels with a similar case involving the U.S., where India adopted a more cooperative stance in response to charges against an Indian national, highlighting the differing approaches influenced by the perceived power dynamics between the nations. Australian Broadcasting Corporation, in a tragic incident in Uttarakhand, India, at least 36 people lost their lives when an overcrowded bus plunged into a gorge. The bus was en route from Garhwal to Ramnagar, carrying nearly 60 passengers despite having a capacity of only 422. Eyewitness accounts describe the scene as chaotic, with rescuers forming human chains to extract survivors from the wreckage. Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressed his condolences and announced financial support for the victims' family. Such accidents are unfortunately common in the Himalayan region, attributed to factors like reckless driving and poorly maintained roads, raising concerns about road safety in the area. Al Jazeera, the bus accident in Uttarakhand, has drawn attention to the alarming frequency of road mishaps in the mountainous terrain of India. After the bustle into a 60-meter gorge, rescue operations were swiftly initiated, with some injured passengers being airlifted for advanced medical care. Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami has ordered an investigation into the incident, which is emblematic of a broader issue in India where road accidents claim hundreds of thousands of lives annually due to aging vehicles and treacherous driving conditions. Modi's government has faced criticism for the ongoing road safety crisis. A similar incident including a recent collision in Uttar Pradesh that killed 18 people, underline the urgent need for reforms in transportation safety standards. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopsis, thoughtfully curated by the 6DO team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6DO Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6DO team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6DO Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website. 6DO Brief, regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6DO Brief via email.